other people's perception of me dictated my actions, the way I dressed, the way I showed up. And that is a recipe for self-loathing. Today is its own essential. Today, we're going to talk about one thing and one thing only. Know your why and make sure it's yours. A lot of times, the reason why we do something isn't ours. It is passed down through generations, through conditioning, through certain experiences that we've had, and we've created limiting beliefs that cause us to act in a certain way because we believe that we'll be worthy, we believe that we'll be loved, and we never stop to question, why am I doing this? And is this mine? Is this authentically mine in this moment in time? Because again, we change. For myself, this is what I've stopped in this season of my life. We'll start with one materialistic example. About 5 years ago, I gave away all of my high heel shoes. Why am I wearing these? They're uncomfortable for me. Not mad about high heels, okay? I think they're beautiful, but I didn't feel comfortable in them. And I was wondering, why do I keep wearing them? If I don't feel comfortable in them, if they kill my feet, I'm wearing them because they look good, right? But what does look good mean? Do they look good on me from my perspective, or do they make other people think I look good? What would somebody else perceive me as if I was standing in front of them with these high heels? Another thing I stopped doing was dyeing my hair and doing my nails. Now, that doesn't mean that I'll never dye my hair again. I don't know what the future holds, but at that season, it was around COVID, I stopped dyeing my hair. I have streaks of gray hair throughout, and I have not dyed my hair since COVID. Why am I even doing it? To look like I don't have gray hair, to look a certain way? So I let go of that. I'm stopping certain things to figure out, is this mine? Is this really something I want for myself in the way I view myself and I feel good with myself? Or is this something I want because I think other people will look at me in a different light? And so if it's the seeking for validation from others, then I'm cutting it out. I want to be in alignment with myself. I want to love myself without thinking that certain things will make other people like me. Because the minute that I focus on something external for validation, I'm going to suffer. There is no end. I've said it in another video where one of the essentials that I talked about was the only thing that matters is what I think of myself. If I feel good with myself, that's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters. If this feels good to me, not dyeing my hair feels good to me, not doing my nails, that feels better to me. I didn't have time for that. So I was like, why am I really doing it? I was really doing it because it made me look a certain way, which I thought I would be perceived a certain way. And so other people's perception of me dictated my actions, the way I dressed, the way I showed up. And that is a recipe for self-loathing. That is a recipe for not truly loving who you are, because you are doing all these things. It doesn't feel good to you, but you're doing it for the validation, for the approval of other people. That's a big problem. It doesn't lead to fulfillment and it doesn't lead to joy. The only way that I'm able to dissect whether or not why I'm doing what I'm doing, remember, know your why and make sure it's yours. The only reason that I'm able to identify the why is from self-awareness. You can identify what's the dialogue going on in your mind. How is it affecting how you show up in the world? How does it affect whether you suffer or not? All of those things are the reason to develop self-awareness. Developing self-awareness will lead me to my why. I will understand my why, and the why may change. I may one day decide that, yes, it feels good to wear these particular heels, or it feels good to dye my hair. It may change. My goal is to stop doing things for the purpose of being perceived in a particular way from anyone other than myself. So yes, I still want to look good, but I don't. What good means to be a reflection of other people's perception, meaning what's trending. One of the main things to ask is, why am I doing what I am doing? Is this reason actually mine? Does it come from habit? Does it come from expectation? Like, I'm going to receive validation, an expectation that I will be validated, that I will be worthy, that I will be liked, that I will be loved, that I will be paid attention to? Or does it come from some old conditioning, belief systems about certain things, like women should wear high heels? There are different ideas. Family norms, beauty standard, which change over time as well. Does it come from your past self? You're just doing things out of habit because that's who you were before, but now you're changing. We change all the time. You like different things at different points in your life, and that is okay. But just to make sure that I'm not doing anything that's based off somebody else's approval of me. So we rarely stop to ask these questions. They're important to ask because if you lead your life in a way that is pleasing to other people, you are not leading your life in a way that is pleasing to yourself. And if I truly want to align with my essential, that is, the only thing that matters is what I think of myself, then I have to really start examining, why am I doing whatever I'm doing? Why am I behaving a certain way? Why am I dressing a certain way? Why am I acting a certain way? Why do I say yes when I want to say no? Why do I say yes when things are not aligned with me, that don't feel right for me, that aren't my purpose? Why? Is it from fear? Is it from approval, that I want to be approved, that I want to be accepted by others? Why am I doing it? These are the types of questions that are essential if you want to lead a fulfilling life. But I think that the point is, am I doing it for somebody else's validation, somebody else's approval, somebody else's attention, all of that? To ask, what do I really like? What do I really want? How do I want to show up? What feels good to me? What makes me feel comfortable? What makes me feel aligned? What makes me feel happy? What makes me feel joyful? All of the things. Figure yourself out and check in with yourself occasionally, because we change. That's so important. So important. One thing to remember is that you can get approval, and still feel bad. You can get the approval, you can get the validation, you can get the love, affection, and likes from other people. You could still feel bad. And a lot of times that happens because we feel like we are an imposter, because we're putting on this show for other people because we think that's what they'll like. And maybe it does check the box and they do like it. But then we wonder why we feel empty, or we feel like an imposter, because we're like, well, but that doesn't really align with me. I don't really like that, or I don't want to dress like this. And I don't really want to show up all the time like that. If you're not aligned with yourself, if you're out of alignment and you're showing up in a way that doesn't feel like you, even when you get compliments, it doesn't fix that disconnected feeling, that inauthentic feeling. You know it wasn't your truth, so you feel like an imposter. The feeling that you have when you're acting in a way that's not really you, and even if you get approval from others, it doesn't feel good. Okay, so you get approval, but you still feel unhappy, still feel bad, still feel unfulfilled. Approval isn't the same as alignment. So regardless of whether or not you get likes and views, and whatever the case is, you get compliments or you get love from other people. You might get love from other people because you're always bending over backwards to do things for others, because you want that love, attention, and affection, and whatever you get from that. But you burn yourself out doing it. These are all related, all really important. So this pattern of behaving, acting, showing up in a way that is intended to receive validation from others, attention, it's all a form of validation, to get something from the outside to fill up something that feels like you're lacking within. So this particular pattern can show up in our career choices. We could strive. I've done this myself, strive for a particular career. I chose a career in higher education so I could feel worthy, so I could feel good enough, smart enough. What you post and why could be based on getting a reaction from other people, getting likes, getting attention. What you say and why, these are all things that we need to examine, because they're causing us to feel unfulfilled. Even if you achieve the thing, if it wasn't aligned with who you are and you don't feel at your natural state doing it, that joy is not going to be lasting. At one point, this worked for you, and now you have this point where you're done with that and you're changing, but then your physical reality hasn't changed to align with the new version of you in this new season of your life. We do need to do these kind of check-ins with ourselves every so often, because we change. And that's great. It's wonderful to change. We live many lives in this one life. So allow yourself to evolve and to change. So this could also show up in fitness. Like, we might strive for the perfect body, but if we're doing it, if our why is to get external validation from other people, so other people can look at you and say, wow, you're amazing, it's great. But if it doesn't make me feel amazing about myself, it was worthless. I've also been down that road too, that I was going to the gym like 5 times a week, doing like boxing and all these things. And I loved it, but it was never enough, because I was doing it for external validation. So I always felt like it was never enough. Like, I still didn't get enough validation, because there's no end to the validation you can get from other people. But if you compete only with yourself, like you are just showing up for yourself every day, and it's all about how you feel and about feeling good with yourself, that is more fulfilling than trying to fill your cup with somebody else's likes. It's just like their value is so much less, and we don't know that yet. We don't know that. And that's important. Come on. External anything does not fill you up. It does not fill your cup. It has to come from within. So we could do this with spending, home, other people's opinions of us. Ask yourself this one question before you act. If there was no one watching, would I still do this? I asked myself about YouTube. uh, Do I love speaking to the camera, even if no one watched? And I think the answer is yes. I did ask myself about writing. I've been writing for the past 2 years consistently. And I ask myself all the time, if no one reads this, would I still want to write it and publish it and do all that? And I know the answer is yes. I know the answer is yes until it isn't. And then I choose again. And then I redirect, and that's okay. Life is about redirection, reinvention. Life is about figuring yourself out anew every single day. And that's so beautiful to figure out, what am I called to do today? Does this feel like me in this moment in time? In this moment in time. To remember and to honor the fact that we are energy, that we are changing all the time. To remind myself not to be too rigid with who I think I am and not to become attached to an identity. To really be in touch with how I'm feeling in the moment and act accordingly. What does awareness do for us? Awareness allows you to pause before you act. Present moment awareness, coming back to the present moment and being aware if there's a dialogue here, belief systems, thoughts, desires, like certain outcomes that you want that are causing you to behave in a certain way and that are not aligned. That is what awareness does in this situation. Awareness allows you to change the habits that are not working for you. Awareness allows you to pursue the change you want to see in your life because it allows you that pause before you act, to do something differently. That's the only way. Pay attention to how the body responds, how your body is responding to a given situation. How do I feel? Expansion and fear feel different. If you're afraid to act in alignment with yourself because you're afraid people won't accept you, that's a fear. It's contracting. And if you feel more expanded, this is fun, exciting, that's an expansion. That might be what your soul is asking for, what your spirit wants. It gives you energy. It doesn't make you contract. Awareness is so important because you're able to witness the thoughts live. It's like, imagine a stream of words like coming out of your mind that are dictating your decision. Don't wear this because they won't like you and that they'll think you look bad. Or don't say this. Oh, that's a big one. Don't say this because people will think you're weird. I've had that for most of my life. Thank God I'm letting that go because the shit that comes out of my mouth sometimes, oh, I don't know. I just want to be the expression of me in the moment. And I wish that for you as well because it feels better. If you don't know what to do and you're unsure of your why, meditate on it. I don't mean think about it obsessively. Come back to your body, come back to your mind. Meditation is to sit, to choose an anchor, which is your breath, to breathe, and to come back to the body. So when you're centered and you come back into your body and you do this for an extended period of time, your mind will start on its own to chatter. And that is your chance to witness and to come back here to the present moment. And then you begin to see how fear is running the show, how limiting beliefs are running the show, how your conditioning is running the show, how your constant seeking for others' approval is running the show. And then you take your power back by coming back in every unfolding moment. We are and can be a new version of ourselves. We discover ourselves anew in every unfolding moment. Ask why, then ask again. It might be your mind playing tricks on you. Because I feel better when I'm wearing high heels. This is me asking myself. Keep asking yourself until it feels true. Why do I want to look good? For other people's approval. An important thing that I want to say as we approach the end of this video, which has become extremely long. The answer won't stay the same. I've said this before, but I can't stress it enough, is that you're allowed to reverse course. You can change. Something that is performative can become authentic later. So you really have to ask yourself, like, why? Why do you want this particular achievement? If you're searching for external validation, chances are you will never feel like it is enough. The process is the point. Don't make yesterday's insight a rule. See the change. I could start dyeing my hair tomorrow. I'll close on this. Don't just ask what you want. Ask why you want it. Thank you for watching. This channel is about developing a strong sense of awareness so that we can create positive change and live more fulfilling lives. Please like and subscribe if this is something you're interested in. Follow along. I would be doing my best to post consistently and bring you insights that help create positive change in your life. Have a great day.